Hey everyone, Stephanie Lucrezio coming to you live. Welcome to everyone coming in. I'm going to give it just a couple of moments for people to pop on. I'm super excited about tonight's live and our guest, Phillip Rizzo. We're going to give it a couple of moments for people to pop in. Let me know where you're coming in from. Give me, if this is your first time being on our broadcast, let me know. I would love to hear from you. So we have a really special live tonight, but before we bring on Phillip, I want to just start by giving a huge shout out to the grassroots community, all of the people that have reached out to me about their involvement, changing their party affiliations, declaring a party affiliation. You have no idea the difference that you're making as we move into our elections this year. We have lots of seats up. We have different people running for governor. So it's so important right now that if you're not currently engaged in this political conversation, that you get engaged. We're going to be doing a live soon just to talk about some of the concerns that we have with some of the election fraud that's happened. But I want to start by saying that we cannot go into this election defeated before it starts. We need to rally and do what we do best and make sure that people are held accountable and that we do our due diligence and the work necessary to make sure that we have a fair and just election. With that being said, in these last couple of weeks, we have proven in the grassroots movement what an amazing force we are to be reckoned with. We have shown that when we put our minds, our hearts, and our energy into something and someone, that amazing things can happen. So I want you to be sure that you're engaged in this conversation. And if you have not already registered to vote in the primaries, all the work that we've done, all the milestones that we've met, it is so important now more than ever that you're registered for your local elections. If you want Murphy out and you want your voice to be heard in the primaries, you need to make sure that you are registered a Republican so that you can vote for Republican candidates in the primary. It's a very easy thing I've attached on the screen. You can see the link that you can go on. It is an online form. It is something that you can do in under 3 minutes. The deadline is tomorrow. So if you have not done it, please make sure that you go on as soon as we get off of this live and you take care of that ASAP. So many of you have sent me messages saying that you've already done it. So thank you for taking prompt action with this. I'm so happy to hear it. So now that we've gotten housekeeping out of the way, I want to bring on a candidate for governor, Phillip Rizzo. Many of you have heard of him. I've had him on a live probably about a month ago, and he was brand new on the scene. We had some events, grassroots movements. We had him up in Paramus. We've had him all over the state. And we've gotten to know this man, the heart of him, what he stands for, what his core values are. And many of us have rallied to support him. And we know that you've arrived in the political game when slanderous stories come your way and there's things that you need to address. So we felt it was appropriate to do a live tonight just to clear the air, to make sure that everyone's on the same page and you can hear from Phillip on some of the issues that are swirling out there on social media. So I'm really excited to have him on tonight and introduce him. So I'm going to bring Phil in. Give me 1 second. Phillip, welcome. So happy to have you back.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Looking forward to a good chat tonight.
We always have good chats. So congratulations, because you hit some pretty amazing milestones in these last couple of weeks. And along with the success comes the inevitable aggravation of having to deal with all types of things that come your way. So I'm happy that you're here and that you can address people in New Jersey and all over the country that are following what's happening here in the state on some of the things that have come out. So in the last couple of weeks, a lot has emerged regarding your housing. There have been accusations that you live in your house for free, rumors that the church pays your mortgage and your taxes. I would love to give you the opportunity to comment and share with the viewers your response to these claims.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to clear the air. This is not true. And before I give the explanation as to why it's not true, let me be clear on the bigger picture. I don't apologize for being a successful entrepreneur. In fact, I believe my business background is one of the reasons why I'm going to be a successful governor. I became successful because I was good at building homes and renovating homes, and I had the opportunity to do that in various counties and various municipalities. And when my wife and I decided to purchase our home and make improvements, we did it fiscally responsibly. We found a property that we loved, a house that we liked, and so we purchased it and we renovated it. And over time, because of the capital improvements that we made to the house and the property, as you're well aware, property values increase with those improvements. And also the timeliness of it with New Jersey increasing in real estate value. The asset was worth more when we sold it to the church than when we paid for it. So that's the idea behind why we would not pay taxes, because the church owns the house. I don't.
Sorry, I had myself on mute. Congratulations on all the success that you've had as an entrepreneur. And I think that the skill sets that you have will definitely lend themselves to being a successful governor if given that opportunity. And we're hoping that that's the case. However, can you elaborate a little bit more, as there's still a perception out there that you sold your house to the church for a profit? Is that true? Is that not true?
Sure. As mentioned already, the church did take title, and I don't know anybody that would pay taxes and mortgage on a house they didn't own. But with the details that I've described, the house did go up in value, and so we did sell it, but we did not make a profit. Pastors and congregations have a relationship, and part of that relationship is that pastors are compensated for their full-time commitment to the congregation. And so when I decided to dedicate my life to the ministry and to our congregation, they weren't able to appropriately and to their satisfaction compensate me. And so with this deal, we were able to sell it at the current value. And so it may appear as a profit. It certainly wasn't.
Okay, totally understood. So, can you give us a little bit more as far as how and why the property value increased? Well, you clarified that, but how did the church come? How did that process happen where the church came to own your house? What does that look like?
Sure. As they decided that they wanted to give me more compensation, they were unable to. And after much discussion with the leaders of our church, it was decided that I would sell my house and turn it into a parsonage as part of the exchange for compensation. And so here's the bottom line, and here's the real reason I've been avoiding this topic. It's not because I'm hiding something, but because the false rumors that attack me for the false claims that I profited from the house. What I am not desiring to tell everybody is that the church bought the house and they obtained a mortgage for what the bank would approve them for. And I donated the rest. And who goes in public to talk about how much money they donate to a ministry? I've been avoiding this for 2 weeks. I've been hoping it would die down, but yet it hasn't. And so when you decide to run for governor, one of the things that you waive is certain privacies. And I've taken that on. My family has taken it on. I have nothing to hide. But certainly even now I'm embarrassed to talk about the sizable donation that I made to the church. That's not something that we voluntarily want to put out there public, but it seems to be something that we need to address because it just wasn't going away.
Well, I'm really happy that you were able to spend some time. I certainly gained a lot of knowledge and information from hearing you speak, and we've obviously had a lot of conversations. So this conversation has been helpful for me to better understand So thank you for clarifying the housing story once and for all. But we need to now pivot because, of course, there's more, to another story that's gained some steam recently. It's been a hell of a week in the Rizzo campaign. Earlier this year, Insider New Jersey published an article where your name was tied to Medicare for All. Obviously, this position is wildly unpopular with your conservative base. Can you explain how and why this came to be? And what do you want your conservative base to know about your position on universal health care?
Sure. It's, first of all, absolutely ridiculous to think that I would be for universal health care. I am 100% for medical freedom. I would encourage anybody that is following this story to not base their opinion of me based on promoted Facebook ads with a screenshot of the title of the article, but actually to go read the article and realize what I was in fact saying. And so I would ask that people would not only go read it, but then that they would also encourage 3 or 4 or 5 of their friends to also read it, because I think when you get into the meat of the context of the article, it wasn't so much about a Medicare for all piece. It was a defense of our president and the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party as a whole.
Makes sense to me. I mean, if you can clarify, if the headline context is accurate, why would you ever call for Medicare for all, even if temporary?
Well, the fact is, when a person is drafted into the military by their government, the government pays their bills during the time they are enlisted in that service. 13 months ago, Phil Murphy drafted the entire state of New Jersey into his COVID warfare. He shut down businesses. People lost their jobs. People lost their health care and the ability to pay for their health care. Now, again, this is something that Phil Murphy took upon himself. We were all involuntarily ordered into his service to be part of his political war. And I was calling them out on their hypocrisy, saying, hey, you've done this to us for a temporary time. Why don't you carry the bag on it? Of course, those calls for them to carry the bag and for them to put out the fire that they themselves started obviously went unanswered.
Surprise, surprise, as has many things that have gone unanswered in the current administration. So I so appreciate your candor and your honesty and the fact that you're willing to come on and have this conversation.
And to that point, though, I've been wanting to address this, and my campaign tells me not to, but I'm just going to say that these are the kinds of things that I expected come June 9th after we become the GOP nominee to take on Phil Murphy. I'll be honest with you, I was not expecting this sort of mudslinging during the primary. I mean, quite honestly, to my GOP competitors, if you want to do that, go ahead and sling mud. Don't sling crap. Nobody believes this. This stinks to high heavens. And quite honestly, you look like a bunch of Democrats. And I've not done that to them. And I think they're way out of bounds. And I think it makes them look bad.
And I think that, we've had many conversations about taking the high road and keeping the campaign really positive and that grassroots kind of feel. And that's the thing that people love about you, is that you are this outside. You're not a politician. So I really appreciate that about you. But at some point with everything that's going on, I feel like it's almost worse to let it swirl. So I'm so happy that we're having this conversation. And that brings me to my next question, because, oh, wait, there's more. A video you made in 2011 recently resurfaced where you're on film saying that Catholics are in bondage to their sin and to religion. Clearly, you can understand why this statement could be offensive to Catholics. Can you please clarify and comment on what you meant by that statement?
Sure. I think it is important for people to realize that I love people of all faiths. That is what it is. That's what part of being a pastor. People visit our church from all walks of life, and I am thrilled to have them visit our church. I'm even more excited when they come back a second, third, fourth time, and then continue on with our ministry for a great length of time. And so that is a regular occurrence within our ministry. But those comments that were made were made prior to me being a pastor, where I am encouraging my fellow Baptist pastor friends that were supporting us financially to give them some insight into Hoboken, the people that are there, the predominant religion. Independent Baptists in the South are big, and the Catholic churches are small. In the Northeast, it's the total opposite. And so this was just giving them a feel of the demographic. Now, the interesting part about individual religious liberty is that it inherently allows people to disagree. And so it was a theological statement. Obviously, whatever faith a person is in, they are in it because they believe they are right. They're not in it because they believe they're wrong. And so I'm sure there's plenty of faiths that would believe that as a Baptist, I'm wrong. None of these things impact or affect my campaign or how I'm going to govern. And it was made in a theological position as a pastor getting ready to start his first church.
Totally understood. And I really appreciate you answering these questions. I know that it's never easy to have these really tough conversations, but what I really love and appreciate about you is that you always welcome it in. You always come very real, very raw. You answer the questions. You don't skirt. You don't try to take the political way out. So thank you for your honesty and your candor and for taking the time to talk to me. Anything that you want to leave people that may be hearing from you for the first time, that may not know anything about you, any last closing thoughts that you want to leave our audience with? Because I know you have a phone call coming, so we have a hard stop.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I'd like to just take the last few minutes to just say that some of these things that are swirling on social media, these are the three. Listen, we expect more to come, but the only reason why we are getting hit like this on issues that have no substance is because we are gaining momentum. People do not hit candidates that are losing. They ignore them. And so obviously we don't enjoy being attacked, but we are glad to answer any questions that may be coming our way. We do not want to have people offended by our positions, and we're always glad to clarify. We're not going to win every single voter, but what I will say to those that are considering their vote in June 8th, we are conservative. If you made a checklist of conservative values and what a conservative Republican looks like, we check every single box. We will bring balance to the election come November because we are unashamed to be standing in the right lane and fighting for all New Jersey families. And I can assure you that come June 8th, a vote for Jack is a vote for Murphy. And I'm looking forward to a great competitive primary and looking forward to talking with you and your listeners again real soon.
We look forward to having you, Phil, and thank you so much for being here, for taking time, answering the questions, and congratulations on making the matching funds, on the petition signatures, on doing everything in such a short period of time. The momentum that you have in this campaign is inspiring. It gives us hope, and we're looking forward to a lot of great things ahead. We will definitely have this conversation again. I'm sure there'll be more stuff to come, but I appreciate you taking the time. Have such a good night. Good luck on your calls, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, Stephanie. I really appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
So to all of my viewers, thank you so much for being here. I hope that this conversation that we've had with Phil tonight gives you some clarity and some closure regarding some of these open-ended issues. And just remember, as we go into the primaries, you know, we need to take an active look at the people, the policies, and the personalities of these candidates. We need to ask them the hard questions. We need to see their willingness to show up in the face of things that are controversial or unpopular, to answer the hard questions in a real way, not a political way, and to continue to have these conversations with everyday people. Because the bottom line is, these candidates, whether it's a governor, it's a senator, it's an assembly person, it's a councilman or a councilwoman, they serve we the people of New Jersey. So if your voices are not being heard here at this point in time going into the primaries, you are missing the mark. So make sure, if you do not have your affiliation set, if you're an independent or you're a Democrat and you're rethinking your affiliation based on these last 4 years, specifically this last year and month, that 13 months that's going on in New Jersey, if you don't want another 4 years of Murphy and you want to have your voice heard in the primary, you need to make sure that you have your affiliation set by tomorrow. So please go onto this website. Primera, if you're on, my lovely, lovely friends, if you could post it in the chat. Primera is probably still here posting. I'm putting the link on there. It's on my live from yesterday when I did it with Primera. The deadline is tomorrow, so make sure that you're registered, that you have your voice heard. And let's focus on the right things. Let's change the face of politics in New Jersey, and that starts with us. It starts with not separating ourselves into buckets of I'm red or blue. It really comes from a place of being open-minded and open-hearted with everything that we're hearing, building relationships with candidates on a local level, making sure that we're extending our olive branches out to have these important conversations and get their ears before they're in office, because this is when the relationships are built. Make your phone calls, get involved, set up your Twitter accounts, make sure that you're doing all of the things, because it's so important that we have our voices heard and that we change the tide of the direction that New Jersey is going. And I know for me that this election means the difference between me being able to stay in New Jersey and me having to pack up yet again and move. And I don't want to move. I love my New Jersey friends. I love my home. I love the life that I'm building here. And I am focused on continuing to move forward and create and build the world that I want my child to live in. So that requires a very different mindset than mudslinging and making, inaccurate claims about people and doing the normal political rhetoric that has gotten us into this shitstorm that we're currently in, and in plain English. So if we want to change the tide, it starts with us. And I say it all the time, we must be the change that we wish to see in the world. So get inspired, get energetic, be positive about what we can create. We have proven over and over again that when a small group of committed individuals get together and they put their attention and energy on something that they want to create, we make it happen. We did it in Trenton. We've done it with this election, with getting Phil over the threshold, and we need to keep doing it. So make sure that you have your affiliation set. Any questions, anything that you need, I am, of course, here. I'm looking forward to linking arms with all of you and changing the face of New Jersey politics, starting to have people like us inside of those walls that are accessible, that listen, that look to we the people when they're making their policies. But the time is now to start to have those conversations. So get involved. Know that it does not take anything more than passion, persistence, and daily consistent action. You do not have to know everything to have these conversations. You just have to have a heart to really feel something so passionately that you want to have them. So I'm so happy that you were here. I hope that this conversation helped to clear things up. And I will be back live with many more political candidates that are running. I will definitely be highlighting and spotlighting people who share our core values and core beliefs of freedom, medical freedom, no vaccine passports, being able to choose for yourself what you choose to do with your family and your children. The time is now to make changes. So let's do it together. New Jersey strong. We have proven that we are. Let's continue down that path. So continue to rise up, stand up, show up, and be the change that you wish to see in the world. We are winning, despite what it may seem like. It's always darkest before the dawn. So we're getting there. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon. Have a great rest of the night. Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. Bye.